answered him, "My Lord and my God." So if someone was standing here and we knew they had been blind their whole entire life, I mean, think it through for real. If we just knew that they had been blind for 3 days. Yeah. And we prayed over them. And suddenly they could see. Would we believe? Would we be like Thomas then, saying, "My Lord and my God"? Or would we say, "I don't know. I need to see the doctor's report saying that you really can't see"? Prove it. Prove to me that you couldn't see. I pray that we become Thomas. That we begin to say and cry out, "My Lord and my God, I believe." I want to see healings. And I want to see marriages brought back to life. I want to see addictions broken off. I want to see our children run in freedom. I want them to know God. I want them to have real experiences. I heard somebody say this morning that everybody doesn't get to know God like that. But I don't believe that. I don't. Right. No. So I invite you to stick your hand in His side. Believe. Jesus said to him, "Have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet come to believe." One of the things that God taught me not too long ago because the enemy was really trying to stop me, to shut me up, to oppress me. And God told me, He said, your actions say what you truly believe. So it's not about how I feel. It's when I get up and I go. When I continue to do, even as what I really believe. Have you ever drowned? I know, weird question to go back to. So you felt like you was drowning? Okay, before you was rescued. Okay, that's where I'm going. So your lungs burn, right? They say it's one of the worst deaths you can ever experience. I've heard that anyway. My oldest almost drowned one time when we were on vacation in Florida one year. And I had went back to get a pack of cigarettes and something to drink from the hotel room. And my sister and my husband were watching the kids, but they had gotten distracted while they were tanning their hides. It's easily done, right? We get distracted when we're doing something we want to do. When I got back to the pool, I found a man handing me my little boy. He's between almost 4 years old at that point in time. And the man was frantically telling me, he was mad, because he was telling me how that he had to reach down under the water and pull Tristan up by the head of his hair of his head. Tristan was drowning. And if it hadn't been for this man, he wouldn't be with us today. Tristan has an unbelievable fear of water. I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever forgiven the ones that should have been watching him that day. Now, I'll also be frank in saying that I'd never have forgiven myself for going back to the room because I had to have a smoke and something to drink if the unforgivable had happened that day. I don't know. I mean, I still have the nightmares and just the thought. I don't know that I could have lived. See, that's my flesh speaking. It's in those moments that I have a really hard time focusing on the heavenly things. The what ifs. Would I still serve God if one of my kids died? Would I be able to? Could I forgive him? It's in those moments that I have to surrender and come to the end of me, right? The end of me. I hear his words to Simon Peter in those moments speak directly to me. Get behind me, Satan. You're a stumbling block. You need to stop. You need to surrender to me. You need to trust me. You need to drown. Yeah. You need to be saturated in the blood of Christ once more. Because you are setting your minds on things of this world instead of heavenly things. It's in those moments that I must choose. It's in those moments that you must choose to be intentional. You have to choose to drown in His presence. It's not as easy as it sounds, but you truly have to choose. Verse 11. Mary Magdalene had come to the tomb. Mary stood outside, weeping outside the tomb. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb, and she saw two angels in white, sitting where the body of Jesus had been lying, one at the head and the other at the feet. Notice she sees who? Two angels. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" And she said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." You realize she wasn't believing that he was resurrected, right? Do we believe in the resurrection? Do we believe in miracles? We say we do, but then we say people don't change. You see my point? I believe people can change when they choose to. When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, please tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Then Jesus called her name, Mary. And she turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. And he said to her, "Do not hold on to me, because I have not yet ascended to the Father, but go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." And she went and announced it to the disciples. "I have seen the Lord," And she told him that he had said these things to her. It's when we start seeing the truth. And it's when we truly hear what he is saying. It's when we choose to hear what he is saying instead of listening to what the world is saying, what we want to hear. It's in those moments that I stop wondering, does Jesus have bad breath? Right? I mean, think about it. Did they brush their teeth back then? Did they have a toothbrush? Did they have Colgate? Did they choose whitening toothpaste, or did they choose, to